Hello students, it's time for another video. So, let's just go here. This should be about the time midterms are coming out. If not, then that means this semester it's a different week or whatnot. But, assuming not, here we go. So, I'm just going to run this module right here to show you the end result. So, I got myself a random number, it was 10. 10 is not equal to 5, it is greater than 3, it is greater than or equal to 4. Let me just go and run this shell again here, just to show you that this is in fact a random number. And I got 7. 7 is not equal to 5, it is greater than 3, it is, so, there you go. Wound up getting the same thing. Now, I will say there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different possible things this could say, and I just happen to get the same 3 right here, so I'll just run it a third time just to show you. It's 3. It is not equal. It is less than 7. It is greater than or equal to. Is less than or equal to 5. So you see, we had greater than, but now we have a less than over here. So yes, we do in fact have 6 different possible things that can be said. So let me just close that out and let me just swipe in JDoodle over here. So of course, delete all that. Let's put our name in here just for making sure everyone knows what we got here. And here we go. So let's just start up. Let's start this program. So, as always, you're probably going, well, I know how to make a random number. The first thing I have to do is I have to import random, because we always import random. Now I've shown you random.randint. I've also showed you random.range, right? So, I'm going to show you another way to do this. So if I'm going to make myself a random number, I'm just going to make my variable name here. I could make it clouds, I could make it porcupine, I could make it whatever. But since it's a random number, I'm just going to make this a random number, just so I know what it is. I'm going to say random number is going to equal random dot choice. Okay? This is another way to do randomness, okay? Instead of having a random range or a random int, we can have a random choice. And inside that choice, we can have something. But a choice from where? Where are we going to choose it from? Okay, well, let's choose it from somewhere. So I'm just going to make myself, I don't know, I'll just name this a number bank. It's just a variable name. I'm just going to name it a number bank. And that number bank is going to equal square brackets. Now, what does that square bracket mean? That square bracket means that there's choices we can have here. This is an array. This is a tuple, okay? This is a list of items. So I got a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, a 8, a 9, and a 10. So now, if I were to say, if I were to do something like print random number, first thing's going to happen is going to go, what do you mean? Print random number? Okay. Let's try to execute print a random number. There's nothing. There is nothing in random number, because there's nothing inside the parentheses. So what can I do here? I could go and just say number bank. So hey, I'm going to pick a random choice from my number bank. And what's my number bank? My number bank is all this. I have 10 possible answers to go for. So let me execute it. And, okay, it gave me a 4. Let me execute it again. Gave me a 9. Execute it again. Gave me an 8. So that's just yet another potential way to do randomness, is if you make a random choice out of a different variable. So yes, I can make a choice of a different variable. That's just another way to do this. So now let's first start getting into our, so now that we have that out of the way, let's get into the actual logic of this whole logic thing. So, we're going to have to determine things about these numbers. So, first off, let me just do this just to make it a little bit, prettier. Just say like, the random number is, and then, put a comma in between it, and it'll do that. So now it'll actually, yes, ding, mark is red. So, we have ourselves a random number, and we're going to get into computer logic. Now, remember where I said computer logic, way back in, like, episode 1 of all this, where I said a computer really only understands 2 things, on and off. So, if a computer really only understands on and off, it only understands on or off. It only understands, true or false, yes or no. This is what's known as Boolean logic. It's either one state or the other. One state or the other. One state or the other. It cannot be both at the same time. And that, at its core, is what a computer understands. So we're going to make ourselves a little bit of a program here to just figure out if something happens. So if, blank, then blank, is basically how this is going to happen. So if something happens, then we will do something. And that also has the implied of if blank does not happen, skip the next part. That's essentially the logic that's going to happen here, okay? This is just me typing it out, the understanding of how it's going to be. So if A, then B. If B, then C. If B and C, then do D. It's just simple yes and no commands in a string, in a long list. And that's essentially what artificial intelligence is. It's a bunch of if-then statements, pretty much. So, if I were to just go if, and what am I going to check? I'm going to check to see, I'm checking to see if this random number, this 8, was, something else, right? So if random number, so we'll go with that. We'll just go if random number, and I'm going to put 2 equal signs, and I'll put 5. Okay, now you're probably wondering, why am I using 2 equal signs when I'm using an equal signs right here? Okay, well this single equal signs is flat out telling me what it equals. Random number is literally going to be a random choice from this word bank. This number bank is literally equal to these things. This single equal sign is me telling the computer what the thing is. It is declarative. The double equal signs is not telling me that the random number is 5. It might be 5, but it might not. It's a check to see if it is equal to 5. It is a comparison. This is declarative. This is comparison. Declarative, comparison. Declarative, comparison. And then, of course, at the end of this logic statement, I'm going to hit a colon. Okay, that is the shift and the button that's to the right of L. And now when I hit enter, you'll see that it auto-indented me in. And you'll also see that there's this little arrow down here. That is a little drop-down arrow. So basically if I have a statement inside of it, so I'll just say print, and random number is equal to 5. There we go. So now, you see this little drop down? If I click it, it goes away. If I click it, it comes back. If I click it, goes away, click it, comes back, click it, goes away, click it, comes back. Basically, what that is saying, even though that's line 9 will only happen if line 8 is true. And when will it be true? It will only be true if random number is equal to 5. So you need that colon in order to get this bit that'll pop down right here. You can't just go and just, start typing stuff in and going like, oh, wait a minute, hold on, let me just space it over a bit. That's not going to work. I guarantee you, if you get any errors in an if statement, most likely it's because you're either missing this and it didn't indent properly. Now, of course, as you see, as I continue hitting enter buttons, it still thinks I'm part of inside this button. So I can just go and say print, banana, and it is still part of that drop down. You see? So if I want to get out of this, once I hit enter, I need to hit delete, and now I'm back on something that's outside of it. So now if I hit this drop-down menu, that print strawberry is still outside of it. So these indents will be able to tell you what is where. So if you hit this little drop-down menu, and you see that something is outside of it and you want it inside of it, that means it's in the wrong place. And if something is, when you click down, it's actually staying inside of it, it's going away, and you don't want it to, then you know it's in the wrong place. So, we're just going to take that away, and let's just hit execute and see what the random number got. The random number is 1. So, because the random number was 1, it did that check and said, is it equal to 5? No. So it skipped everything that was inside the if statement. So it skipped all that and went right to strawberry. So let's just hit execute again. Number 7, strawberry. Eventually it'll be a 5. Number 6, I'm getting closer. Numbers 3. Numbers 4. Numbers 8. 10. Numbers 9. Numbers 6. Numbers 10. Once we see a 5, it will say banana. Tell you what, I'm just going to make this a very easy choice here. If number is equal to 2, just for the sake of this video, just to showcase this, number is 2. 2 is equal to 5, banana. So now it printed this guy right here and that guy right there, because now the if statement was true. So it printed all that. So, as long as we understand that concept, I will move on to the next part of this assignment, and I will get all these numbers back up where they belong. And if this number is equal to 5. So, we have if our number is equal to 5, and we know that it says it's equal to 5. So, I'm going to just get out of that, and I'll make another if statement this time. I'll make a random number. So, whoop, 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 whoop. Helps when I spell things correctly. If random number is not equal to, so I'm going to do exclamation mark equal. So if it is not equal to 5, colon, I'm going to do print, and this time random number is not equal to 5. So I'll hit execute. Now we'll see here, the random number is 1. 1 is not equal to 5. So it skipped all this because it was false. And then it did this because it was true. So now it's just a matter of making some more statements. So I'll go with if random number is greater than 3, I will now print, random number, comma, is greater than 3. So I'll hit execute, 1, and I see, so it was not equal to 5, so it only did that, and it was not bigger than 3. So let's execute again. This time it was 5. So 5 is equal to 5, and 5 is greater than 3. So it did the 2 that it found to be true, and it skipped the 1 that it found to be false. So now let's make ourselves another one here. We did greater than. Let's do a less than. If greater number is less than 7, colon, and here we go. I'll print this out again. Random number is less than 7. And we know how that's going to wind up working. So now we're going to go, we know how to do less than, greater than. What about greater than equals and less than equals? Okay, so if random number is, let's do less than or equal to. So there we go, less than equal. So it'll be less than or equal to 5. Which is different from being exactly equal to 5. Print, okay, random number is less than or equal to 5. There we go. And let's just go and make ourselves another if statement, but this time if random number is greater than or equal to 4. Okay, print random number is greater than, greater than or equal to 4. Now when I execute this, you'll see my random number, 1. So 1 wound up being less than or equal to 5. So there we go. It was less than or equal to. And it still did it. Let's execute again here. So 2 is less than or equal to 5. It did it that time. So 6, here we go. So 6 is not equal to 5. It is greater than 3. It is less than 7. And it is greater to or equal to 4. So of course, if I were to wind up with a 4, a 5, or a 7, yep, here we go. So 4 is greater than or equal to 4. So it was either greater than or equal to, and it wound up being 4. So yes, you can have a situation where, honestly, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm pretty sure that is the most possible outcomes we can get out of this statement, because the only other statement we have is, you know, equal to versus not equal to. These two will never be the same thing, because they're complete polar opposites. So yeah, that's basically just checking a bunch of if statements, just simple if statements, and just some of the possible equations that can be used. Double equal signs to see if it's equal to something. Exclamation mark equal to see if it's not equal to something. Greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. So that sort of stuff. So once you have all this working, just save it, submit through Moodle, save it to a Word document, that sort of thing, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye-bye.